All right, welcome back everyone to the next episode on SAP Fiori Security come Fiori Launchpad come Fiori Elements come Fiori on Cloud Training with me and above. In the last episode, we talked about how do you activate a standard Fiori application for the end user and what are all the pain points we have typically activating a Fiori app for the end user. We talked about the different artifacts, how they are related and connected. We saw how to transport your role, and we saw the challenge in activating Fiori applications into the system. So first challenge is, since we are in a new system, there are abundance of Fiori apps, and eventually it takes a lot of time for me as a developer to activate all the data services behind the scene, all the Fiori applications, and make sure that all the content is seamlessly going to work. Activating these services for each app is a big effort. It's a very time consuming and laborious process. Also, the Fiori apps are designed to work seamlessly. They are not just designed to work independently because they are tightly coupled. I'll show you an example today. You will understand it better. Testing effort is very high. If you ask a user to test every time whether your app is working, not working, working, not working, go back and forth, it takes a lot of time. Initial effort of setting up Fiori was also very high, where we activated the set of apps, and also at times it may so happen that you miss out some important updates, miss out some important steps during the update of Fiori app. Yeah, so that is what we will have a issue. So now the answer to all of that is rapid Fiori deployment, to activate not just the Fiori apps but also to register and create test users with which you can quickly test the Fiori application. So let's start how exactly Fiori apps are designed, and let's talk about the guidelines first. So I already explained this. Fiori is the go-to interface for S/4HANA. Customers who continue to use SAP GUI as their primary UI will have only limited benefit from innovations of S/4. Selectively implementing Fiori apps will break the user experience because they are not designed to work individually, and you will lead to high implementation cost if you selectively implement one or two apps as part of a role. So now, why it is like that, why Fiori is default go to interface, what is the main reason? If somebody asks you why SAP said that, so let's take an example of our user. The user is now logging using SAP logon, SAP GUI, accessing sales order transaction. From other side, the user is accessing, let's say, one Fiori app or two Fiori app. Now, on one side, he is tracking the issue with sales order in the Fiori, and on other side, he wants to resolve this issue of individual sales order. So basically, you have created two access points for the user, two entry point for the user side by side to access functionality. Now, what will happen eventually? Half functionality user accessing from Fiori, half user accessing from the GUI. So this is very dirty. It will break the user experience. It will not be a good user experience. It will take a lot of time because he has to switch between multiple windows here and there, copy paste content from one browser to another, SAP logon and SAP logon to browser, vice versa. It will be very tedious task for user. Hence, SAP recommend that you have to have single entry point for the full scope of S/4HANA for the user, where SAP allows you Launchpad to access single entry point for the user. From the Launchpad only, the user should go to overview screens or the transactional screens or SAP GUI classical transaction directly from the Launchpad. So it will never open SAP GUI window. It will be accessing using web GUI into the into the browser directly. So this is the flow. Let me show you this one flow, how typically user can access a application. Consider our example of LX. LX is what? He is a sales representative in the company. He just joined the company in the sales department, and he would like to, his job is to resolve the issues which are coming in the sales orders. Yes, that is what LX job is. So just give me a second. Let me log in. So I log in as LX on Fiori Launchpad. And now LX main job is to find out all the issues inside the system, inside the sales orders, and fix them one by one. like if you have a billing which is blocked, or if you have, let's say, delivery which is blocked due to some issue in the sales order. uh, just those who don't know sales order functionality, just think about it. You are working in a company as a clerk, and your company is receiving a lot of customer orders. Let's say you are a car manufacturing company, and one of your customer booked a car. Yeah, now he booked a car, so you got a sales order. So that sales order has information about how much is the amount customer will pay after you deliver the car to the customer. Now the sales order received, your the order is also ready, but suddenly there is a lockdown. Because of that, the car delivery cannot take place today. Yeah, so in that case, that sales order will be blocking the delivery due to lockdown reasons, right? So that is how simple it is to understand ERP. So now if you go back and see that I am the user, this is my entry point. You see I didn't start SAP GUI, I directly start Launchpad. This is my first step towards accessing functionality, which is what very much relative to the PPT. If you see in the PPT, you see you always start with the Launchpad as a first step. Yeah, then from here user will perhaps go to, let's say, sales order, and there are different applications for sales order. Now one of the application which gives a overview of sales order is this one, which is called sales order fulfillment issues. Means what is the problem I am facing to fulfill the issues which are coming in sales order. It comes under sales order monitoring. So I as Alex login and connect. So this is my overview screen, usually a simple analytic app with a list of charts on the top, where I can use filtering on charts directly on fly. So now I go and select order issues. So you see there are 48 issues in order, 3 issues in invoice, and 1 issue in delivery. So I click on order. In order, 48 orders are there in order step, and then I click on go. Show me these 48 orders which are blocked. And now these orders are blocked because of these issues. So there is a delivery issue, there is an unconfirmed quantity by customer, there's a delivery block issue, there's a implement data in sales order issue, there's a credit block issue. Credit block means, let's say customer said I'm going to pay for this car which I'm purchasing from my credit card. Yeah, and now you go and check the credit card is invalid, or customer gave you a check, bank check, a bank check to withdraw the money, and the check bounce. Yeah, so that's a credit block issue, because you are not able to receive the credit from the customer, you can't give the delivery for the car. So these are all the issues it shows. You can maximize the screen to see overall issues. Then you can go and change the chart settings here. This is beautiful. You can differentiate different chart settings. Yes, you can basically change different settings on different properties. You can include and exclude. It's a very powerful user interface where you can see all the issues coming. So you can see only the chart, you can see chart and table both, you can see only the table. So like this you can see all the data, all the issues, and now below you see the sales order and why these sales orders are blocked. So you can see there are these sales orders and they're blocked. Sales order number is also given. Now maybe I'm only interested in the issues which are related to, let's say, delivery block, or let's say credit block. Yeah, why the credit is blocked, why the delivery is blocked. So if I just go to, let's say, credit block, I click, it filters my orders, which is 19 and 20. These are blocked due to credit issues of the customer. Now I can directly from here jump to the sales order, or I can drill down inside the sales order. I can navigate to the next screen in Fiori. This is another Fiori screen which shows me the life cycle of the sales order. So guys, when a company get a sales order, there is perhaps a life cycle. So let's say I want to purchase a car. My company is giving me car benefit, and from my company, through my company, I create a request to purchase a car. So first thing which I will get is a quotation. So car company, car dealer will give me a quotation. They will say, sir, this is the price of the car, this is the model, and this is the insurance cost, this is the on road cost, this is the road tax, all that they will give me a quotation. That quotation I will approve from my manager, and then my manager will approve it, and then my company will create a sales order for the car company, right? So that is, if there is a flow, there is a flow of functionality, all of that you can see here. So you see now the sales order is blocked. There was a delivery which is planned, but there is the sales order itself is blocked because of credit block. So you can click here and you see the sales order number, and when you say more links, it shows you all the cross app navigation. Wow, that is the what I was talking about. The Fiori apps are not designed to work individually, they are designed to work seamlessly. Now if you notice the target mapping, see the target mapping for current app is sales order dash fulfillment, but the moment I click change sales order, watch out the target mapping on the top. It will navigate me to a GUI transaction from here itself, and you see the target mapping change to sales order dash change, and it opened a web GUI. Yeah, exact what you see VS02 in your SAP GUI, it opened in the web browser. Do you make a difference? Is it Fiori or not? Anybody? Can you guess if it is Fiori or not? Anyone? Is it Fiori or is it SAP GUI? It is SAP GUI. It's a web GUI basically. It's a SAP GUI running on the web browser. So some of you who have very good experience in SAP, like a 5 year, 4 year experience, 6 year experience, you can make out because you worked with this transaction. But many customers can't even differentiate whether it is Fiori or whether it is HTML GUI or web GUI. Yeah, that is what the magic is. This is what they've done. This is called UI harmonization done by SAP. So the look and feel looks very similar to Fiori. Okay, but eventually it's a web GUI. You saw more than 70% of functionality still web GUI in S4 HANA, but it works in browser seamlessly with Fiori apps. And you can see we jumped to another application altogether completely, but it was so seamless that you will not even make out. And now you see we have delivery block because of some reason, because let's say Kanban delivery. So I can go back and I can change to blank. I can change it to blank. I'll resolve the delivery block, billing block issue, and I can change my sales order. I can save the sales order, and you see the sales order gets saved. So this is the way we can actually change and we can resolve the issue. So you see the Fiori apps are not designed to work individually. They're designed to work together, seamless execution end to end. This is how they're designed to work. Yeah, this is how Fiori apps are designed to work. So this is how there's a cross app navigation interrelated. Now let's say in my company I just activated this app and the services related to this app. Yeah, so you see it's now sales order fulfillment analyze ALP detail. This is the target mapping. I just activated this app. Yeah, this particular app. Now if somebody will go perhaps to the navigation, you notice that it's now going to a different app. You see it's a different app target. You see it's now sales order dash manage fulfillment. This is a different app, but it's so seamless that you'll not realize that it's a different app. And from here if you click and you say more links, you can jump to any of the application in SAP. These are all different application, Fiori application, transactions. Yeah, manage sales order, another Fiori app. I can jump over there, I can open my order in that. Now you see it's sales order dash manage. That's a target map. So in just few clicks we jumped between three Fiori apps, different Fiori apps actually. Now just if I activate one app, let's say this app, do you think the Fiori end to end will work? If I just activate one app, if I just activate this app, right? Correct? Will it work or not? Anybody? If I just activate, no, because these apps are interconnected. Internally, they are connected. Okay. So eventually, what will happen is the navigation will break. That is why SAP say if you selectively implement Fiori, you will break the user experience and you will eventually end up in a very high implementation cost. Is this statement clear to everybody? Yes or no? What SAP is making? Yes or no? If you selectively implement few Fiori apps, very few Fiori apps, single Fiori app, two Fiori app, three Fiori app, eventually it will break the user experience. You will not get the benefit, and there will be high implementation cost it will result into, because Fiori apps are not designed to work independently. That is the statement what we prove now with an example now. Okay, now coming back, so how Fiori improves usability experience, we just saw. First, we have a single entry point from the launchpad, yes, for all the apps. Then we have domain specific information and actions like sales order track, or sales order issues, fulfillment issues. And then from there, we can go to depth level, the third level navigation to a web GUI application or to another transactional Fiori application from there. And it will give you one look Fiori theme across all experience, whether it is web GUI, WebDynpro, or SAP GUI, sorry, or the Fiori. Eventually, the one look and feel, you get seamless look and feel. That's how Fiori improves the usability and experience for the end users. Okay, now coming to the standard SAP role. SAP deliver lots of standard roles out of the box since SAP started. SAP is now delivering about 800 and sorry 480 plus roles. 480 roles, yes. About 480 roles are delivered for different areas. Guys, SAP ERP is a big software implemented in big companies. These humongous size companies have 60,000, 80,000 employees. They have all the departments integrated by SAP. So you have finance, you have procurement, you have sustainability, you have utilities, you have wholesale, you have commodity, public sector, oil and gas, asset management, financial sector, commerce, e-commerce, sales, customer service, retail, commodity, then R&D, engineering, supply chain, human resource, travel management, financial services. All of these SAP applications integrate all the departments of a company. It's a big solution, it's a big software, it's a big ERP software. So for each of the department, they deliver different predefined roles which you can subscribe to, which you can use to, and you can grant access to the user depending on the user. So now you see, if you see sales, you have internal sales representative. Yeah, this is one business role which we saw that day in Fiori app reference library. If I just recall that, those who forgot, if I go to Fiori app reference library, and if I just search apps by role, I will find this role called internal sales rep. You don't need to remember all these roles. No, not at all. But just wanted to give you an overview that how big is S4HANA is. So if you go inside SAP Fiori apps or S4HANA by role, you can see here there are different roles per area. So if I just go inside, let's say internal sales representative. So internal, and you can see internal sales representative, this one. Yes, if I go inside, then you see these are all the apps relevant for an internal sales representative in the company. So what SAP recommends is you should, when you're implementing, implement it role by role. Don't implement app by app, because if you implement app by app, how many apps you have to activate? Yes, it will take huge time for you. So that's why the recommendation is you should activate Fiori role by role. Standard app activation. Many people say, Anubhav, teach me standard app activation. I can teach you standard app activation. You can learn it. But if I teach you in a wrong way, you will end up activating standard apps one by one, and eventually you will end up spending huge time, and that will cause a lot of cost to your company. So whenever a trainer or whenever somebody teach you Fiori app activation, you should not learn Fiori app activation. That's an easy process. You just go activate service, just check the role, assign the role, add the catalog, add the group, done. But that's not Fiori app activation. That's not Fiori app implementation. The right way of Fiori app implementation is using rapid Fiori activation plus implement it role by role, not app by app. Because if you go app by app, you will have huge implementation cost at the end of the day. This is what is the recommendation, which we need to always keep it in mind. So let's understand what is Fiori app, Fiori rapid deployment or Fiori rapid activation. What actually it includes, what packaging it comes with. So Fiori rapid activation, Fiori rapid activation, or Fiori rapid deployment, what it means. So if we come back, so in the past when Fiori came in, when Fiori initially came, Fiori was introduced in ECC. So it came from ECC onwards. ECC means Enterprise Core Component, your classical business suite ERP. We used to perform lots of manual activities step by step. And at least in my company, I've seen people write big document. 80 page, 100-page document, that if you want to prepare the system for Fiori, you have to read this 80-page document and follow all the steps. It's huge. Yeah. So this is what we used to do in the past. Yeah. The activities like activate, gateway, and we also did the same thing when we started this course. Activate gateway, activate standard Fiori services, uh, activate, create SICF nodes. Yes, a lot of these tasks were done manually. Create roles for testing manually, copy SAP roles, copy SAP content. A lot of manual activities was done typically in the past. Yes, and then we used to inject lots of authorization manually and activate O data service for each app. Also, the activation was done app by app, which is very time consuming. Okay, that is what happens. Now, any manual process, as you all know, any manual process is time taking and error prone. That is the problem, right? It is slow, it is error prone, and it's time taking. So with SAP S4 HANA onwards, 1809 onwards, SAP teams gave feedback. This feedback, so basically what happens is SAP, whenever they go for implementation, they collect feedback from customer. So SAP teams collect all the customer feedback, and this team is called RIG. RIG stands for Regional Implementation Group. So whenever SAP implements to some customer SAP ERP, like big companies like Colgate, Nestle, Hindustan Unilever, ONGC, IOC, when they implement big implementation, these teams directly implement, directly interact with customer. They take customer feedback. So SAP teams got feedback from customer, and this feedback was given to development, and SAP with SAP S4 HANA onwards, SAP 1809 S4HANA onwards, SAP introduced concept of rapid Fiori activation deployment. First you have to deploy Fiori and then activate, right? First the base has to be ready, only then you can start cooking, correct? Now, can you believe all of these activities are simplified to one click? Yes, आपको एक ही क्लिक करना है, एक क्लिक पे सारा काम हो जाएगा. Wow. Anyone can perform that one click, right? Even I never worked with Fiori. I am a Fiori security consultant. I just joined the company. I have no clue. I've got a new system and I wanted to set up Fiori in that system. I want to activate Fiori in that system. I don't have too much knowledge. Even I can do that just by following the process. What is the advantage of this process? This process is automation. Automation means all the SAP built so many ABAP reports which are arranged in a sequence to activate Fiori. So that's what you get. You get speed because it's all done by computer, by system itself. You don't have to go to each and every node and transaction to do that activation. You don't have to even bother about future changes or read Fiori security in detail. It's good to have knowledge, but you don't have to still do that. So in the past, what was the process, and now what is the process? In the past, you see, is a comparison of process. So in the past, how people experience Fiori, activation of individual apps was done. So you select the apps, you activate each app one by one. You see this option, maintenance, all is this manual activity, and then experience Fiori. But with Fiori Reactivate activation, what SAP says, new approach, experience SAP Fiori out of the box along with business role. So you select the roles, you select Rapid Fiori activation is done. You see this packet, you open the box and you and start experiencing Fiori. And then last, you do the manual activity for adoption of your content, which we will do later on. Means if I want to customize my content, I can do so. But activation is upfront done one for all, rather than each and every app you individually activate. You do it once for all using Fiori Rapid Activation. So this is the main difference. Now how exactly it happens technically behind the scene? To be able to achieve this, SAP introduced a
Honorable.
concept of
Yeah,
task. Please allow me to complete, maybe we'll take the question towards the end. So concept of task list. What is the concept of task list? Let's see how we achieve this whole automation. How is this approach works? So SAP NetWeaver 7.4 onwards, there is a new concept of task list. The transaction code is called STC01. Let me show you this T code. You can also create your own task list in SAP server. So if I go to SAP system, my front end system, you should do it in front end system. I'll just go to my system, go to T code STC01, STC01. Let me add it also in the important T codes so that we never forget them. STC01, yes, not O1, 01. Task list. So here you can build your own task list. Basically, I don't want to build one, but what you can do is you can arrange the sequence of reports. You can have so many ABAP reports which automate your work, and you can put them in a sequence, and you can build a list of tasks. That's why it's called task list. You have multiple things getting executed in a sequence, and that's why it's called task list. So this is the T code, which is a new T code introduced from NetWeaver 7.4 onwards. SAP fully leverage this T code now to bring down your time and cost of implementation for Fiori. Now, what we do now is actually SAP also not just do this, SAP also provides a set of standard task list which you get out of the box. So instead of doing multiple manual activities, we can do a one-click execution of task list. And the task list is designed to work in sequence and execute all the work in automatic way. So guys, when we started this training, I showed you activating few services. If you go back, just to recall you what we did, we went and we have activated few services because our launchpad was not working, and we went to main service, and there we activated the page builder conf, page builder purse, right? Some of the page builder services, these services I've activated to show you working. Yes, we activated transport service, interop service. We went into SPRO. We went and we have activated the gateway from here. Yes, we activated the gateway. This we did when we started this training, this one. Then we went ahead and we did a connection SAP to SAP. We maintain RFC. We have created a system alias. All that I did manually. How much time it took? It took a lot of time for me. Yes, and it may so happen that if I don't remember all these things, then I may miss out something. It is time taking task to set up my system. So first you do setup of the system, then you go to the apps. But first the setup itself took a lot of time for us. And also you need to understand what each service does. Now if I say that all of this can be done with a one click, what about that? Yes. And guys, it works for both whether you are embedded deployment or you are on central hub. But remember, this only applies to S4 HANA. This new approach, eventually you all will be on S4 HANA one day. Your company will be on S4 HANA 100% for sure, guaranteed, because by 2029, the business suite support is ending. Each company is clearly directed by SAP to move to S4 HANA as soon as possible, immediately, ASAP. Just imagine on the earth, if we have natural calamity, earth will start drawing into the sea. What we will do? We all will sit into a shuttle and we'll go to Mars, right? We'll start a new world there, right? So that's exactly what is going to happen by 2029. All the systems, business suite, all the customers of SAP will go to S4 HANA eventually. So that's why this approach is relevant for S4 HANA. So first, bottom line, the task list approach only applies to S4 HANA, and it work for both embedded and central hub. But there is a difference in the both approaches. We need to follow SAP guidance on task list if we using different system. SAP gives different task lists for backend, different for front end if you're using embedded, if you're using central hub. If you're using embedded, then there is of course another set of task list. So first let me show you documentation. So where can you go and read about it? So what I will do is I will go back to the same documentation which we started long back. First is help.sap.com/s4hana. This is the starting point always to find something. And now I'm in S4HANA. I will switch to use and I'll say English. And then in this, I will go to technology. S4HANA technology. Come on, faster, faster. Enterprise technology. Then I'll go to SAP Fiori. Expand and I go to Fiori Launchpad. So let's go to Launchpad. Yes. And now I go to administration guide, initial setup for Launchpad, deployment options, initial setup for embedded and initial setup for standalone. Yesterday, one of you asked me, Anubhav, as per my knowledge, as per the blogs I read on internet, the task list approach is only available for embedded deployment. Incorrect information. This is your assumption purely. It is available for both central hub and for embedded. For central hub, there are different set of task list or perhaps same task list, but in different systems you will be executing them. For embedded, you will have different task list which will be executing you because it's one system. So first let me show you central hub. To break the myth which you have, I go here, I will open in another tab to show you the task list names which you will execute if you are doing a standalone deployment, means separate Fiori front end and separate backend. So if you come here, this is your architecture. You have a separate backend, separate front end. And now here you will see different task list, automatic activation of Fiori. If you go inside, you see different task list for Fiori system and different task list for backend system. So there are different task lists, and it clearly tells in which system you should execute which task list. So this is for the central hub. You see, this is the one for central hub activation. But if you're using embedded system like I am using, which is recommended one, then you will use different one. So you see these are the different task lists. It clearly tells you where which one you should activate. Some of the task lists you find them common, very common between embedded and the central hub, but eventually this is how you should refer the correct documentation on the internet. So now if I go back, since I'm using embedded one, I'll choose this one. Yes, and then I will see for embedded one what's the choice of task list. If I open this now, another tab, yes, let me close the previous one. If I go there, then it shows me the automatic activation of embedded deployment. Yes, so if I click here, then I'll see the list of task list here for the embedded one. You see there are less number of task lists for embedded one. For a central hub one, there are more number of task lists because some of them belongs to backend, some of them belongs to front end. So this is how you should consume the right material, and this comes from directly from SAP. sap.com. So even you show this to somebody, if you have a debate with your team members in your company who are consuming or giving you wrong information, you can show them this documentation. This is the way you traverse the documentation. So our first task is, since I'm using embedded one, our first task list, guys, is this one. What is this task list does? This is the task list only for embedded deployment. See, clearly written. If you go to another documentation, then you'll see what is the task list for central hub. You see, it's just here. Yeah. So this is only for embedded scenario, this one. Yes, you can use this task list to configure SAP gateway and SAP Fiori. So basically this task list is responsible for setting up initial Fiori and initial gateway. Now you see the task list consists of tasks that are available with following task list. So this task list is a big task list which consists of many other sub task list. छोटा छोटा task list बन के बड़ा task list बनाया है. So this is a big task list. It is consisting of these many small task list. So these are basically basic gateway setup, launchpad setup, job setup, activate OData service setup, then activate ICF node setup. These are 5 task lists which composed of this one big task list. So isko laga dala to live jinga lala, right? So this one big task list, if you execute all of these 5 task lists, you don't have to execute. So this is why we use this in embedded system. Let's copy that. I'll put this on the slide also so that you can directly remember. So this task is responsible for activating SAP gateway and entire Fiori launchpad and launchpad designer. So complete Fiori will be deployed. Basically, this is called Fiori deployment. Fiori task list, rapid Fiori deployment. Entire Fiori will be activated. आपका launchpad activate हो जाएगा, launchpad designer activate हो जाएगा. Your services related to launchpad designer like page builder purse, page builder cust, page builder conf, all the ICF nodes, all the, it will also generate automatically roles for you. Yes, it will generate Fiori roles for you. So a lot of these will be activated. The second task list, which is next one, is this one. This will be responsible for activating enterprise search. ESH means enterprise search. SH means search. E means enterprise. So this will activate enterprise search, which is very important because you see in Fiori Launchpad, when I go, there is this search option, right? This search option on the top, enterprise search. So if I just search 10000030, it will do an entire system search, find any sales order, purchase order, quotation with this number. In entire system, it will do a search. This is your enterprise search. ये अगर आपका नहीं चल रहा है, आपको केवल ये वाला task activate करना है, ये वाला चलाना है. Your enterprise search will work fine in the system. Many time I've seen companies, they don't have this search button working, and they complain that this search button is not working. Then people will start worrying about how to enable. So it's nothing, just run this task list. It will activate entire enterprise search, all the OData services related to enterprise search, everything will be activated, and this search will be enabled automatically. Now next comes is this job schedule LRP. This task list is basically to refresh periodically your gateway system caches and gateway system flexibility, UI5 flexibility layer. This will enable. Right now, not so important. And then you have health check. Health check means it will do a check of Fiori Launchpad if your Fiori Launchpad is properly set up or not. That is what this task list will be responsible for. There is one more task list. If you are using the embedded system, sorry, the central hub, then you have different set of task lists you see here. So there is one task list related to Fiori alone, which you execute on the front end system. It's called SAP Fiori Foundation S4. I think it's not listed here. I don't know why, but we should execute that both for embedded also and for central hub also. Let me note down that one. Very important task list. SAP Fiori Foundation underscore S4. This task list is responsible for Fiori activation. So above one is gateway activation plus Fiori both. But this one is specifically for Fiori. It's also good practice that you run the first one and third one, always relevant. So this will be responsible to deploy Fiori. Basically, deploy Fiori means the Fiori itself will be ready. to work. It will set the theme, like things like it will set theme, default Fiori theme. It will set the create the launchpad and admin roles. Remember, we created launchpad role, admin role ourselves manually. Z by copying the UI to underscore 700 role. Yes, if you don't remember, let me quickly show you again. So we went to PFCG and then we made a copy of this standard SAP role. We made a copy and then we implemented a role. We made a copy of user role. Yes, and then in that role, user role, we have added a lot of services. We've adapted that copied role with a lot of ICF nodes and services, a lot of things. SBP chip we have added, right? A lot of things we did. So all that stuff was manual work. सब कुछ ये एक बटन से हो जाएगा. Yeah, एक बटन से सब कुछ हो जाएगा. This is what will happen. So you see now here, eventually these three task lists are very important if you're working with Fiori. So let's see and run them. I'll take the first one. I go to T code stc01, put it here. Yes, execute starting S4 HANA 1809. Remember, yes, very important. If you're low version of S4 HANA, nahi milega, nahi chalega. Very important. Starting S4 HANA 1809. Remember, this is the minimum version of S4 HANA. You should be starting S4 HANA S1809. This is the minimum version you need to be able to run them. Let's go back and I click on display. Let's see what it does. So you see here a lot of activities it is going to do. You can see documentation. See documentation here. You read the documentation, what it does, what are all the services it activates. Every single thing is well documented here. What it is going to do. It's going to activate certain transactions. It's going to activate ICF nodes. It's going to activate gateway. A lot of these, you see, it's going to create system alias local. Remember, this is required for Launchpad services. It's going to activate virus scan profile, audit a cache cleanup it will do, so that will not have problem. It'll create a select a customizing and workbench request, and when it activates the local system alias, it will lock in a transport request. Yes, it will activate gateway services in the main service transaction, ICF services. It will set system profile parameters to efficient working of gateway. It will implement cache buster. Cache buster is a very important concept. It will recalculate UI5 application index. We will learn all this later on in troubleshooting. You will understand more in detail. It will add launchpad and launchpad designer URL in favorite automatically for the user. It will set transport option for OData services. It will confirm OData service activation. Lot of this it will activate. Basically the gateway layer it will activate for you. Yeah, not much related to Fiori, but gateway related activity, system alias and all what we created manually it will do. So let's execute this. I execute here and it's going to take few seconds. So you see all of this. Now you can also give the package name where you wanted to lock this new service it is going to activate. So it will put it in my local object. If I don't give anything, I can give namespace. So I can just change this value, change here, and I say it should start with y not z, and it should put it in this package. You can give a productive package. Yes, save back. You see, then I will also change this. All the transport should be with y, and I can give a package name. Let's say z test. Save back. I'll just also just put here z test as a package name in which it should lock everything. Yes, so these are all the certain things which you can tweak, you can change, you can create a transport request also. So you can give existing transport request. You can already select a customizing request for locking the changes, or you can also say create automatically a new transport request with my user. Yes, so all of this it will do, it will take care, and I'll run this. So now it's going to take few seconds to run this. Yes, you see there are tasks which are running and everything is done. Wow, my gateway is ready. And you see it has created a transport request. Yes, in which you can see all the changes are logged. So CFN 9000993. Let me go to the TR. सब कुछ अपने आप कर देगा. आपको टेंशन लेने का जरूरत ही नहीं है. अंदर जाओ. What was the name? 9000993. This is the one you see. It has created a transport request, a customizing request. Yes, a configuration request. If there is a change, productive change, like since it has already found the local alias and all, it didn't do anything, but many things it will take care automatically. Okay. So this is the beauty of the first task list to mainly activate gateway and gateway related services. The next one is Fiori deployment. Fiori deployment requires Launchpad designer, yes, all that role creation which we did manually. That's the next task list. Let me copy this. Okay, this is the last, this one. Enterprise search, I don't need right now. I'll just use this one. Execute, and now you see, it will create first of all transport request. Yes, you can already choose a transport request of your own. Then it will see what it does. It will invalidate all the UI2 caches. It will activate HTTP service for web GUI to run web GUI. It will activate NetWeaver business client, web client framework, smart business modeler. Yes, this is what called KPI tiles. We will learn about SAP KPI later in our training. Activate Fiori related services. Assign system alias to S4HANA alias. Yes, replicate backend catalog, global UI to cache, cache cleanup, create system alias TGW, menu system alias it will create. Yes, then activate foundation services. Yes, what are all the services it will activate? You can click here in documentation and read. So smart business runtime, smart business ESS search, all these services will activate in the SICF, sorry, in the main service T code. Generate Fiori foundation role. See, remember I told you about the UI to admin role, UI to user role, which we manually copied. It's going to generate those roles out of the box for me. अपने आप रोल बना देगा. Assign करो, चलाओ. You can see easy menu access add कर देगा. Configure navigation, FLP navigation will configure. All the notification section in the FLP, there is a notification section. If you go back there in Fiori Launchpad, you will see there's a notification section. This one, it will configure this notification section also for you. Yes, this will also, it will activate, it will configure. Then it will create Fiori Launchpad spaces and pages. This is new stuff, you see, it's unchecked right now. Okay, so one of the student asked me long back, Anubhav, SAP have got this new concept of Launchpad spaces and pages. How do I start with it? How I don't see spaces and pages in my system. How do I activate? So this is the task list task which you can check, and it has lots of services related to spaces and pages. It will activate. Okay, so this T code is there for spaces and pages enablement. So a lot of these things, it will activate a lot of services it is using behind the scene, space and page concept. So it will activate. I'm checking it, so I can show you later on this concept as well. Then it has defined FLP plugin for conversational AI, kai. Kai means conversational AI chatbot. So you can give command to your launchpad directly using kai. So it will activate those services as well. Let's check everything. क्या जा रहा है अपना? कर लो select. Yes, okay. Then it will do cleanup activities. So everything will be created. It will generate the roles also. You see foundation role. I want to generate new foundation role with namespace y foundation admin role, y foundation user role. It will create from a copy of UI to user 700 and UI to user admin 700. It's going to create new roles with the namespace y. Yeah, so let's give the y space namespace and just role name as y. I'll show you after creating these roles. Let me copy the names over here, so later on I can show you the roles which are created by this task list eventually in the system. Then it will set up all the transports and everything. Yeah, just says z test, and if something fails, it will tell you upfront. Yeah, let's run this task list. I will say execute all the tasks I've selected. Some tasks if you feel already done in the past before the upgrade, let's say you're upgrading the system, many services get deactivated. So after upgrade you need to reactivate them. So you can come back and just select the services which you want to reactivate after upgrade. So task list can also be used after upgrade in the system to speed up your work and your implementation. So eventually let's finally run this, execute here, and it's going to run now. You see it's running. At the below you see hourglass which will show you the progress of running this task list. So you will see in few seconds it will get over. It's a big task, like lot of tasks are there, a lot of services going to activate, a lot of things it's gonna do, and it's gonna take a lot of time. So now we can move towards the questions. I think that's the end of today's lecture. Once it will get over in the class I'll show you, but now let's move to the questions. Any questions on these two task lists, anybody?
So, Anubhav, while doing the upgrade, there is no harm to use this two task list as is. uh,
No harm.
or we have to uncheck?
Both during right after installation and right after upgrade, you can use. There's no harm. For sure, no harm.
Okay. And as we seen on the rapid activation deployment, that chart, so if you can open that chart. Yeah, over here the last step is adjust FLP content and the business role. So
Mhm.
is this a step of a personalization?
No, this is not personalization. This is basically we need to adapt the content. Let's say in your company, you've activated things. And after activation in your company, you have got, let's say, 500 apps on the screen. But are all
Mhm.
500 apps relevant for your company? For the
No, no.
users? No, no. So you have to adapt it according to department. You need to adapt. Let's say I'm an employee of a company. मुझे क्या क्या चाहिए? What are all I need? I need a leave request app. I need timesheet app. I need create sales order app. So I need few apps. Of course, cross
Mhm.
app navigation should work, but I need few apps to be able to work with my job, my day to day job. So, what happens in companies after the activation is done? You would need to arrange the or design the basic launchpad for manager, for employee, for CEO, for supervisor, like these people. And to be able to do that, you need to adjust the content because SAP will flood your screen with lots of Fiori app. You just saw when I assigned SAP BR sales rep, it assigned lots of apps out of the box, right? Lots of apps,
Mhm.
but we don't need it. It will confuse your user. User would perhaps need 6 apps or 10 apps maybe for day to day life. How many apps you have in your mobile phone? And how many of them you really use them, right? Many time I go to my mobile and I delete a lot of apps because I don't like flooding my screen. So that's why we have to adapt the content. That's a big topic. It's a really very big topic. We're going to spend significant time in coming classes to this topic, how to adjust the content. So we are right now just setting up the system, right? Once the setup is done, once the basic Fiori is ready, gateway is ready, once the launchpad is ready, launchpad designer is ready, once the roles are ready, once the content is activated, once the services are activated, once the Fiori apps come in action, after that adoption starts. The content adoption starts. That's a very important topic. It will also involve something called fit to standard or fit to gap analysis. We will also learn about that. It's a very important part of our training because before you take a decision to build a new app, the first question comes is there already a app which is available which can do the work? अगर already SAP ने ऐप दिया है तो आप नया ऐप क्यों बना रहे हो? Right? So this is called fit to standard gap analysis. We will also learn about that, and we will also learn adapting Fiori content. It's a very big task. We will learn it in subsequent chapters. Remember, 50% of this training is Fiori security and Fiori implementation. Remaining 50% is advanced development. So we are not even reached to the 50% yet. There are a lot of topics yet pending on Fiori implementation and security.
Yeah.
There are more questions coming in chat window. How can I activate
Yeah,
all apps based on role? Rohan, I will explain this tomorrow. There is another task list for that. We will discuss this tomorrow, Rohan. Yes,
yeah.
activating
Hi,
the
Anubhav.
apps. Mhm.
Anubhav, you told that we will be activating a lot of Fiori apps while just implementing this rapid deployment. It's something like we are just putting the standard catalogs and groups. So all those things will be placed as a content in the Fiori Launchpad. And then the last step is adjust FLP content is something like we need to create some custom groups and then we
Yes.
replace it in something like that.
Correct, exactly. We
Okay.
will we will not
Okay.
consume those standard content as it is because that will confuse your user. You need to adjust the content to make it neat and clean for the user. You won't just blindly flood the roles to the user. The user will see
Okay.
so many. That is what the biggest mistake what people do. They activate the apps and they just assign the standard roles to the people, and then they complain my launchpad is speed is very low, launchpad is not loading, it's taking a lot of time. सारा ऐप दे दिया आपने, उसको चाहिए नहीं वो ऐप भी आपने डाल दिया लॉन्चपैड पे, लॉन्चपैड तो मरेगा ना बेचारा. You have to adapt the content, adjust the content, make it relevant, do a design. This is also design thinking, what you have to do with business. So you cannot flood simply everything on the users launchpad. It's not recommended. You have to adapt and adjust this content according to business need. which is what I'm going to explain in the next section of this training after we learn the role activation in the next class. Okay, two more questions here. If we have done some screen exit on VA01, will it also be visible on FLP? Yes, it will be visible on FLP because eventually it is loading VA01. If you've done any screen exit, menu exit, yes, whatever body implementation, it will work naturally by the nature. Can we also upgrade the UI5 version along with task list? No, for which there is a report, which is what I'm going to show you in coming classes. You need to wait for that, how to upgrade UI5 version in your server. Cross app navigation, would this be separate topic in our course? Yes, we will cover the cross app navigation also in this training. However, if there is an urgent need for you to develop a cross app navigation, please check one of my YouTube video on the same. There's a series of YouTube videos on YouTube. Two videos are there. Please check these videos quickly. You will understand how to do cross-app navigation from your Fiori code. Okay. Yes.
Anubhav, there is one more task list specifically for spaces and pages. So, is it recommended to go when we do an upgrade to go only for the spaces and pages task list, or shall we go with this basic task list?
So let's say you have already run the main task list and everything is working. But later on in S4 2020, they want you to activate spaces and pages. Now, one
Yeah.
option is you come to this task list, uncheck everything and just check
Okay.
the spaces and pages, or you run the
Mm-hmm.
task list relevant for spaces and pages separately.
Pages.
Yeah, makes sense. Guys, I have another corporate training which is continuing. I have to rush out. We can take up more questions tomorrow. I hope you enjoyed today's lesson and I hope you learned something very interesting and important, which is what we do. This is the recommendation from SAP Regional Implementation Group. In the next class, I will also show you some of the very important, in fact, let me put it here. I have collected the best in class relevant material from the internet and put down everything at one place for all of you on this single slide. It has for something for everyone. So Fiori for S4HANA Wiki, for IT leaders, for project managers, 10 myths and misconceptions, essential roles for S4HANA projects. The whole project team, they should read this, speed up your Fiori support, guided answer, functional consultant. These are all the blocks. 5 Fiori features which will bring value to business. Best UX resource for functional consultant. Finding the delta of new apps between S4HANA version. Finding the technical name of the app. For technical team, Fiori rapid activation, whatever I'm teaching, it's inspired by these blocks. I have also read relevant material from internet. How to extend Fiori apps. Guided answer, how to extend Fiori app in S4. Understanding extensibility. Of course, we will cover this topic. It's a big topic for us, but just for information, I put in all the documentation in one place. Performance tips and tricks for S4HANA on-premise, readiness check, and internet facing consideration and recommendation. So some of the very nicest and best material I've ever come across, I put it together in one single slide to keep it simple and easy for all of you. You can go through this, and one of the best material which I love is this one which I'm teaching you. It has every single information what you need to know, whether you are working on S4HANA 2020, 1909, 1809 और 1709, जिस भी वर्जन में हो आपको सब डिटेल यहाँ पे मिलेगा. She is an expert on Launchpad. She is my guru for the Launchpad and Launchpad security topics, and she has put amazing blog here. You see rapid activation for update. May 2020 update, July 2020 update, August 2020 update, October 2020 update. All the latest up to date information is here for Fiori rapid activation. If you just jump over to this blog from here, it will take you to notes, it will take you to blogs. So you can go deeper, 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 and inside you will find lots of standard content. So Fiori rapid activation for 2020. And now you see for every version 1709, 1809, 1909, which version you are on to. Yes, all the parts you can see which support pack you are onto. You can accordingly read this, and it has videos, it has material, it has task list information, what each task list does. Every single detail with screenshot is well documented in this page. A very powerful document directly from SAP experts on your doorstep. This is my source of learning. I don't hide anything from any one of you. I give everything openly to all my students. And this is my hard work I've done to collect this information, and all of it collected at one place for you. So you can save your time. Unfortunately, I have to
Anuma,
close
this
the call. I'm really sorry I can't take more questions at the moment. I'm really, really sorry. My another corporate training is continuing. I have to close the call. Please note down your question. You can shoot an email or we can discuss it tomorrow. Thank you so much. See you tomorrow.